So, before I go forward with talking about the subject at hand, I kind of found out the problem with the branding in 2018 and 2019, especially late 2018, because early 2018 was pretty good for the Trolls branding. But what happened during that time was Beat Goes On was getting support, not to mention Trolls 2016 branding that wasn't Beat Goes On related. New stuff was being released. The problem lied in the fact that retail stores didn't either they didn't either stock up on Trolls merchandising or they just didn't want to. And it's not because Trolls was doing bad in those years. It was just mostly because they just didn't want to. And a lot of the merchandising wasn't like it was like UK exclusives or anything like that. So it was weird for retail stores in the US to get them. Like that wasn't the problem. The problem really boiled down to stores either didn't care or there wasn't enough stock. And I feel like in 2020, they resolved that problem ever so slightly. The pandemic is going on right now, so that's kind of a problem in of itself. But in 2020, the Trolls branding decided to branch out to other companies. And looking at it right now, it's definitely helped them in the long run. And especially with Trollstopia. Trollstopia goes on barely got attention nor its own branding. That did not happen. In fact, Beat Goes On merchandising was just labeled Trolls. Currently, right now, they literally have a new subsect of Trolls merchandising that has the Trollstopia label, it has the Trollstopia cast on it. So, right now, I will say Trolls is in a little bit of a better place, but like stores really need to work on making sure that they have, the merchandising in stores and make sure that there's enough stock. Same applies to like not toy related stuff. Like they really need to make sure that Trolls is in the forefront. Like I think DreamWorks kind of needs to get on that because I'll say this, I cannot escape Frozen 2 and that movie it's like it's done. It's ran its course. Like, but there's like still Frozen 2 and even Frozen 1 merchandising still out in stores, still out there in the wild. So Trolls really needs to kind of step up their game when it comes down to this. And I think because they branched out to other companies, I think Trolls' future is going to be a bit brighter going forward, especially with something like Trollstopia. So I noticed that a lot of fans are pretty salty that Barb and the other characters are not in Trollstopia, and I 100% get that. I will say this, guest star episodes, those are things in TV shows. Barb and those characters will probably show up as guest star episodes. So if that happens, there's something to look forward to, but them being in the full-on series, I get why. But a lot of fans are not really getting the full picture of it and are creating theories saying that the crew are a bunch of liars and like y'all let's not start that again because remember when y'all started a rumor mill the last time and remember when we all thought that Dante, Holly, and Val were in their designs. Remember when we all thought that because of copyright reasons they couldn't use the World Tour characters and that Holly was supposed to be um, Delta? Like, y'all remember that? Like, let's not do that again. So I don't have the links to this article, sadly. But if any fan knows the link to this article, please comment down below and I'll pin it so that way you all can see it. I also remember hearing the audio of this as well, so I'll read what's on screen right now for you. Beyond that, the idea of Trollstopia was to avoid Poppy always visiting other places. Instead, bring things to her. Matthew Beans confirmed that the series takes place a few months after Trolls World Tour. Part of the problem was that Poppy couldn't just go off to have adventures with characters such as Barb, as she's too busy ruling her domain. In addition, it was noted that the movie feature characters come with restrictions on what they could do with them, as the movie crew needs to think about the next movie. The creators' own characters can do a lot more than the movie ones, and this is why they went with new characters, aka the Troll Delegates. Thanks to the crew member who was in that interview, I forgot who it was, honestly, but thanks to that crew member, all that smart, elegant sound and stuff in that interview and the picture of said article, I wish I could link it. Again, fandom, if y'all got that interview, link it and I'll happily pin it. But all that smart, elegant sounding stuff, that's like out of the window. This is just me talking as a fan and a person who's been through the modern equivalent of like toy franchises. So this is just me speaking from that. So I'm noticing the fandom is hella salty, and I get it. You know, you want Trolls the Beat Goes On, but with Barb and Riff and Prince D and Child, we all wanted that. We all expected that, and I'm gonna be real with y'all. Peacock, Hulu, DreamWorks, y'all need to get your acts together when we jump into a new Trolls TV show, because let me tell y'all, you did your own crew, you did the Trollstopia crew, y'all did them dirty, y'all fed them to the wolves, which was the fandom, and y'all waited like 2 weeks, a week before the show premiered, and we're like, new characters, what? So maybe y'all need to, not feed your people you're working with. Maybe you shouldn't feed them to the wolves. Maybe tell the fandom what's up before y'all do something as wild as that. And that's why the fandom's mad, and I get it. Pin your blame to the Peacock, Hulu, and DreamWorks. Don't do that to the crew. Like, the crew's just working on a show they're having a blast working on, and I can tell. So don't be mad at the crew. Pin your blame at DreamWorks for not giving the fandom a heads up. But here's the thing. So I'm noticing a lot of people are kind of taking how Peacock and Hulu and DreamWorks did the show dirty by not telling us, hey, so Barb's not showing up. You know, they're taking that and using, because a lot of people have seen this article already, and they're saying that the crew are a bunch of liars because they worked on the show before World Tour. I don't even know. I've heard people say that. I don't know how much I could believe it, but that's what the fandom's saying. I can't really trust the streets too much, but that's what they're saying. And I gotta be honest, this is just DreamWorks being hella smart. As I said, yeah, would I have liked to see Barb? You betcha. But here's the thing, I'm happy that we're kind of at this point in the Trolls franchise that it's bigger now. World Tour literally put the franchise on the map to do bigger and greater things. Trolls 1, Beat Goes On, Holiday, it was cute, it was simple, it was sweet. And I like that about the first era. But now Trolls is really, truly starting, in my opinion, and I think DreamWorks views it that way too. Now, the reason why they're kind of in this place where Trollstopia or Beat Goes On, they're practically DreamWorks Trolls, the extended canon content. Really, this is just content to keep the franchise alive. In fact, compared to Beat Goes On, I've been talking about this. Trollstopia merchandising, the books, the figures, the dolls, whatever you want to call them. Also, we're getting plushies on the way. A lot of Trolls tubers have covered this. Trollstopia is like now like an extra branding, and that's amazing. So we kind of, Trollstopia is in a spin-off territory. It's keeping the franchise alive, and you might be saying, okay, cool, it's keeping the franchise alive. Couldn't they have done that with adding Barb, Riff, Penny Whistle, etc.? And yeah, they could have. but I want to present this. I don't know how long Trollstopia lasted, but y'all saw Beat Goes On. You saw how Poppy slowly grew, and you saw how Branch like really grew in that show. They don't want that for Barb and etc. They don't want that for that crew. You might be saying that's an idiot and dumb choice, and no, it's not at all. And I want to kind of present this here. There's some times where I wish Trolls was a TV show kind of akin to My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, or like shorts akin to Rainbow High or DC Superhero Girls. I would have loved that. And I think that they probably would have, like, the show Beat Goes On could have been in a Trollstopia situation. But that's not what the franchise wanted. Um, but here's kind of the thing. Trolls is a multimedia franchise. It's a movie franchise, it's a TV franchise, it's a book franchise, it's a toy franchise. It's a whole bunch of things. And when they decided to pick up the Trolls license, DreamWorks knew they had to keep it a well-oiled machine. They could not stop at all. And because of that, they gotta make sure on the daily Trolls is in front of your faces. That's the job of multimedia. So what they want to do is they want to have their spin-off shows. They want to have their Trollstopia. They want to make sure that Poppy and the Snack Pack, they get all the attention they need. Cool, great, we have new characters. That's like new merchandising opportunities right there. And since we don't gotta worry about Val, Holly, etc., the crew can go nuts and wild. DreamWorks will, of course, have to approve most of it, but for the most part, since the troll delegates are the crew's own creations, they practically get to create this show, in a sense. Because Poppy, Branch, and the Snack Pack, those characters have restraints of what that crew can do. The troll delegates, they could go crazy, and I love that, and I'm happy that Trolls has that opportunity to do it. So them keeping on to Barb, so in that way they can have a character arc in the movies instead of the shows. I know a lot of people are disappointed with that. I'm a little sad by that too, but I get the business as to why. Because here's the thing, as I said, they gotta make sure DreamWorks Trolls is in your face. If they give Barb over to the crew, she's literally gonna have a Beat Goes On, Branch, and Poppy character growth. And the moment they do that is when the film franchise becomes limited and limited by the minute. The fandom, because we're the only people watching the shows, will be like, hey, wait a minute, this is kind of like that one story. Hold up, wait a minute. So to avoid that, they're making sure that the movies can go nuts, let her have her character growth, etc., etc. Same with the other characters. And new characters they want to introduce in the later films. Please cast Shawn Mendes at some point. That's all I'm saying. Or Charlie Puth at some point. Just throwing that out there. Or maybe BTS. That's just me. But yeah, would love to see that. Anyways, back to the point. Um, I forgot who said it. I think it was like JT or one of the directors. They said they wanted like I think like 6, maybe 7, 10 troll movies. This is the only way we get in that. Like straight up. This is the only way we're getting that if they keep Barb and the rest of the World Tour cast strictly for the movies. And in my opinion, it sucks that Barb will be like guest star episodes or let's just fingers crossed she gets like books and stuff like that. Um, but this is good. If we want the movie franchise to last X amount of years, this is the only way we get in that. And in a sense, when you look at it business wise, to keep this franchise alive, separating the World Tour cast with the Trollstopia cast is just a business move that really you could agree and disagree with it. Like it ain't perfect, but you know, we want the franchise to go on a little longer. This is the only way we get in it, and I like it for that. Yeah, would I like Barb and Riff and etc. etc.? Oh yeah, you bet. I would love to see what the TV shows could do, how that crew would handle jokes, characterization, etc. etc. But, in order to keep the franchise alive, this is for the best.